Okay, so we are doing the topic of dissolution of a partnership today. Now, the logic for dissolution is very straightforward. It's basically the partnership selling all of its assets, and whatever money they are getting from that, they are using that money to pay all of the liabilities, and whatever remains in the end is taken away by the partners in their profit sharing ratio. That is all.
Yeah.
This is the entire concept of the dissolution process. And there is one small thing, that during the dissolution process, there might be some expenses for the dissolution process that has to be paid. In addition, some of the assets of the company, the partnership, are directly taken over by the partners. So
Yeah.
then those assets will be directly, what we can call directly taken out or adjusted with the capital of the partners. Similar to what you have done in some of your earlier chapters also, that
Yeah.
Mr. A takes over the furniture at a price of this much. So then Mr. A's capital will be put in. Fine.
Yeah.
So that's the entirety of the thing. Obviously, there will be some twists and turns as we have seen across all of the partnership chapters. But the base logic is this, that all assets will be sold off. Money from the asset sale will be used for paying off the liabilities, and from the liabilities, whatever, after paying the liabilities, whatever money is remaining will be taken by the partners in their profit sharing ratios. And in the process, there might be some expenses which will be paid, some assets might be taken over directly by the partners. Done. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. So this is basically the whole of it. Now, this is some theory that you can go ahead and read later, that what are the various situations or various ways in which dissolution can happen. So it can happen by mutual agreement, compulsorily, by notice of the uh, uh, notice of the partners, or by happening of an event which they had decided before the thing, including a death of a partner and a partner becoming insolvent, or dissolution by the court, meaning the court feels
Mm.
that this partnership has some flaws or some issues, so it wants the partnership to be dissolved. Okay, this is a legal
Yeah.
matter. This fifth point is a legal situation. Okay, so that's pretty
Yeah.
much the entirety of the theory. The theory part is that much. Okay, now in the
Yeah.
dissolution, they have made your job easier by kind of charting out what are the books that you need to prepare. First of all, you need to prepare the realization account. We'll discuss this at length because this is the main account actually. Then you have to prepare the loan of the partner, loan by the partner, my bad. If there is any loan by the partner given to the business, that will be discussed. Loan by the firm to the partner, that will be also written. The partner's capital account, the main account of the partners, which we have been doing for the last 2 3 chapters, and the bank
Yeah.
and the cash account. Cool. Is it fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
what is the realization account? Now, understand one thing, that when we are selling all the assets, what we have to do is we have to go into the asset account every time for individual assets, and we have to pass specific journal entries in each of those accounts. Yes. Like, let's say I'm selling
Yeah.
furniture. So then I'll have to go into the furniture account, make a journal entry, make a ledger entry, and
Mm.
everything that follows. If again I'm selling a machinery one, then again machinery one account, everything that follows, journal, ledger, and everything. Again, if I'm selling a motor vehicle, again motor vehicle account and everything that follows. Now, this
Mm.
is a very time taking process and a very, what we can call, a repetitive process.
Yeah.
And now, since the partnership is getting dissolved, this need not be done at all. Why? Because after this, there will be no need for the no need for the machinery account or the furniture account. So why unnecessarily waste time? So
Yeah.
in order for us to avoid all of that task or all of that repetitive work,
Mm.
what we do, we transfer all of the assets to one account and use that account for all further transactions, which
Yeah.
is known as the realization. Similarly, for liabilities also, that if we are paying off liabilities one by one, okay, loan from bank A. So if we are paying it off, we have to go to that loan account, make the journal, make the ledger, everything again. If we are paying
Mm.
loan from bank B, again go into that account, pay it off, journal, ledger, everything. Similarly, uh, if we have creditors, individually we'll have to pay all of them and
Yeah.
individually all the accounts. Again, too much of repetitive task and the same thing that we don't need it after this. This
Mm.
won't be needed after the dissolution, right? It is getting done. The company is closing, the partnership is closed. So then
Yeah.
in order to avoid this hassle also, we transfer all of the liabilities into one account and pay off all the liabilities in that same account, meaning that all further transactions relating to liabilities will happen in that account itself, and it is the same account which is the realization account. Is it fine? So
Yeah.
basically what we do, we transfer all the assets, all the liabilities into the realization and pay them off, sell them off first, the assets, and pay off our liabilities from there onwards and transfer the remaining to the partner's capital according to the
Mm.
profit sharing ratio. Very
Yeah.
similar in in the end to the revaluation account, only the
Mm.
initial structure is a little different. Fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so this is fine. The basic concept of what is a realization account is clear. It is an account which
Yes.
helps us cut our time or cut our monotonous work by transferring all of the assets liabilities into one account. It makes the job easier to pass journal entries and all. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we just have
Yes.
one account left instead of various assets account, various liabilities account. Now getting into the ledger journal entries for realization. How will we transfer the assets into realization? I think some of it we discussed and you should be able to tell me some of these. So tell me, how do we transfer all of the assets into the realization account?
Uh, the asset will decrease. So
Right. The asset
we
account
will,
will decrease
yeah,
because
the
it
asset
will
account,
transfer to realization. Okay.
yeah. So it will be realization account debit to asset account credit
Very
for
nice. Perfect.
assets.
Very nice. So
And
this
for,
is basically us transferring all of the assets, various assets into the realization account. Okay.
yeah,
And for liabilities,
for liabilities, liability account debit to realization account credit.
very nice. So all of the liabilities getting transferred, and liabilities account themselves are decreasing and everything is getting transferred, put into one account, which is the realization account. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, works. So this is the first. Now, when we start selling off the assets, what will be the entry
From the realization account,
from the realization account? Yes.
uh, then it will be a realization account. Uh, the partner's capital account will increase,
Mhm. No, 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 no,
which
no,
will
no.
mean,
No, no, no. Not partners capital account, not yet involved. We are selling the assets for cash.
okay, so we will get, it will be cash account debit to realization account credit.
Very nice. Because cash is coming in and realization is now our asset account in a way, partly.
Yeah,
So then the asset
yeah,
account will decrease. So here instead of there is, since there is no asset account, the realization account will decrease.
Yep.
Okay, clear.
Yeah.
And for liabilities, paying off liabilities.
For paying off liabilities, um, cash account, cash account will increase. So cash
No, no,
account
no.
debit
If you're
to,
paying off liabilities, paying off
okay, paying
liabilities.
off.
Yeah,
Okay. So the cash account will decrease, which will mean liabilities account debit to cash account credit.
perfect. No, no. Liabilities nahi hoga, realization hoga, right? Because there
Yeah.
is no liabilities left. It is all realization now.
Yeah.
Is it fine?
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Done. Very nice.
I have a doubt.
Tell me. Waiting for the same.
So when we transfer something like sundry debtors into the realization account, and let's say there is a provision for sundry debtors.
So that will
There's a
be a
provision
liability.
in,
That is a liability. Provision for
yeah.
sundry debtors or debtors is a liability. So it will be transferred like a liability.
So the provision will be, okay, transfer
It is a
provision
liability.
account debit
It is a
to,
liability. Forget about
okay,
everything else. Think that it is written on the liability side and it is a liability. And that's it.
yeah,
Okay,
okay, yeah,
fine. So that's it.
yes.
And now if any asset is being taken over by the partners,
Yeah.
then what will be the entry? Instead of cash, if the partners are taking over the asset,
So the entry will be partners capital account, uh, debit to the asset account credit.
asset तो है नहीं ना, realization, there is only realization
Realization
left.
account. Yeah, the realization account credit.
Works.
Yeah.
ठीक है ना? So tell me once again, if an asset is getting taken over by the partner, what will be the entry?
Partners capital account debit to realization account credit.
Very nice. And if a liability is being paid directly by a partner out of his own personal assets or by him directly,
Then realization account uh, debit
debit to
to
partner's capital
partners
account, right?
capital account credit.
Instead of the cash in the earlier transactions, his or her account will come into place.
Yeah.
Okay, is it fine?
Yes.
Cool. So that's it. That's the set of journal entries. Great that you remember most of them with a few errors here and there, but most of them you answered correctly. Okay,
Yeah.
works. Very nice.
Yeah.
So, ठीक है. Fine. So then the ledger for the same will look like this. I'll just workman compensation reserve. I think you have done it prior, so same adjustment will happen here also. All of the earlier things will be the same. The adjustment for the general reserve or the workman compensation reserve and all of that will be the same. Okay, we'll see as we go ahead. We'll see that.
Yeah. Just to clarify,
Yeah.
the reserve, the workman compensation reserve, if the claim is less than the reserve, then we don't have to make any entries, right?
If the claim is less than the reserve,
Yeah. Apart from
no,
transferring
हाँ, वो reduce हो जाएगा. The workman compensation reserve will reduce, and that
it.
money
Yeah.
will get paid to the workman, and there will be
Yeah.
no
So,
other entry.
so like for example, if the reserve is 10,000
50,000,
and
10,000.
the claim is 5,000.
No, nothing will happen. But only the fact
But
that
the
the workman compensation reserve will be left at only 5,000 after the thing,
exactly.
which will be
But
distributed amongst the partners.
yeah. And what if the claim is more?
I told you, this exact question you had asked me, the claim is more will be adjusted with the PNL.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
But usually it will not.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see. If needed, we'll see that. Fine. So these are the set of journal entries यहाँ पे given है. We already discussed most of them. Directly I want to make you see this is the realization account. See all of the assets that we have brought down. These are all of your assets. Okay.
Yeah.
And these will be brought down at the book value, meaning the balance sheet value from the balance sheet. These are all of your liabilities from book value, meaning as given in the balance sheet. Okay. And this
Yeah.
is exactly what you were asking, right? See.
Yeah.
Okay. And then all of the assets getting sold off and the money you have received and all of the liabilities being paid off using this money and some assets being taken over by the partners, some liabilities or expenses of the thing being paid directly by the partners, and then the profit or the loss transferred to the partners.
Yeah.
Cool. Is
Yeah.
it clear?
Yes.
Works, right? Is it okay?
Yeah. Yeah.